Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from verses 17 to 21 of the 14th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. These verses will describe Yudhishthira Maharaj observing some bad omens. Further description of that. The 17th verse. Suryam hata prabham pashya grahamardam mitho divi sasankulair bhuta ganair jwalite iva rodasi. The meaning of this verse is: the rays of the sun are declining and the stars appear to be fighting amongst themselves. Confused living entities appear to be ablaze and weeping. The 18th verse. Nadyo nadascha shubhitaha saramsi cha manamsi cha najvalati agnir ajyena kaloyam kim vidhasyati. The meaning of this verse is: rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs and the mind are all perturbed. Butter no longer ignites fire. What is this extraordinary time? What is going to happen? So Yudhishthira Maharaj is describing to Bhima the bad omens that he is observing. Rivers are disturbed. Ponds and reservoirs of water are disturbed. How they are so sensitive to note all these indications of something inauspicious or undesirable that's going to happen. People were living in harmony with nature. This is a point I mentioned in the earlier session, and I'm repeating that we are meant to live according to a certain design of the Supreme Lord in this material world. People have become indifferent to nature. Of course, they suffer calamities and they do take note of that. But then, even before a calamity occurs, the bad omens or the symptoms of such calamitous happenings in the future, that nobody is able to, most people are not able to recognize that. It is common knowledge in the Vedic times. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Bhima, what is this extraordinary time? What is going to happen? The 19th verse. Na pibanti stanam vatsa na duhyanti cha mataraha rudanti ashrumukha gavo na hrishyanti rishabha vraje. The meaning of this verse is: the calves do not suck the teats of the cows, nor do the cows give milk. They are standing crying, tears in their eyes. And the bulls take no pleasure in the pasturing grounds. Especially in the Vedic culture, the cows and the calves and the bulls were treated by the people who owned them, who reared them, as their own children. This is very important. Among all the domestic animals, the cows were treated as seriously, as nicely, as caringly as their own children. So, and in the Bhagavad Gita, it is particularly said, Goraksha, special mention is given that it's the duty of householders to give special protection to the cows. Though one should never harm any other creature, still specifically the cows had to be given special extra care, extra protection than the other animals, domestic animals. So, Yudhishthira is marking, calves do not suck the teats of the cows. Why? Because the cows are not giving milk. And why are they not giving milk? Because they're standing there crying, tears in their eyes. Something calamitous is going to happen. The cows are also sensing, and Yudhishthira is noticing this. And the bulls, they used to happily go to the pasturing grounds and graze. But now they are not taking any pleasure in grazing. They seem to be disinterested. They are also foreboding some calamitous happening. The 20th verse, Daivatani rudantiva svidyanti hi uchchalanti cha ime janapada grama purodhyana akara ashramaha bhrashtashriyo niranandaha kimmagam darshayanti naha. The meaning of this verse is, the deities seem to be crying in the temple, lamenting and perspiring. See, even the deities are not just some statues in the temples. They are actually personalities who are personally present, and only an advanced devotee can see the deities seem to be crying in the temples. And these deities also, Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, they seem about to leave the temple and go away. All the cities, villages, towns, gardens, mines, and hermitages are now devoid of beauty and bereft of all happiness. The entire atmosphere is very sad. There is a sadness that is spread everywhere, and natural beauty is absent in gardens, mines, hermitages. That natural beauty is missing now, and there seems to be no happiness anywhere. I do not know what sort of calamities are now awaiting us, Yudhishthira Maharaj is telling Bhima. What kind of calamities are we going to face now? We do not know. But certainly there is going to be some major calamity. The 21st verse, Manya eter mahotpater nunam bhagavata padaihi ananya purusha shribhir hina bhur hatasaubhaga. The meaning of this verse is, I think that all these earthly disturbances indicate some greater loss to the good fortune of the world. Why is he telling this? Why is Yudhishthira Maharaj telling this? Because in the next part of the verse, he is telling, the world was fortunate to have been marked with the footprints of the lotus feet of the Lord. These signs indicate that this will no longer be. As long as Krishna was present on the earth, the footprints when the Lord used to walk, the footprints of the Lord made impression on the soft ground, because the Lord's personality is very special as compared to other human beings. On our palms there are some lines, but Krishna's palms, there will be no lines like this. There will be some special impressions. Krishna's feet, the sole of Krishna's feet, the bottom of Krishna's feet, there will be some special marks. That's indicated here. There is a verse in the 8th chapter of the 1st canto, 39th verse. Kunti Devi is addressing Krishna, and she is offering a beautiful prayer which indicates what are the impressions on the feet of the Lord, underneath the feet of the Lord. Kunti Devi is telling, O Gadadhara Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. So Krishna's presence, Krishna's walking on the ground and leaving behind the special impressions of his feet are all auspicious in every way for the prosperity of the entire world. So in the purport to this particular verse, Prabhupada says, there are certain particular marks on the feet of the Lord which distinguish the Lord from others. The marks of a flag, a thunderbolt, and an instrument to drive an elephant, umbrella, lotus, disc, etc. are on the bottom of the Lord's feet. See, all these symbols are there. Impressions are there. These marks are impressed upon the soft dust of the land where the Lord traverses. The land of Hastinapura was thus marked while Lord Sri Krishna was there with the Pandavas. And the kingdom of the Pandavas thus flourished by such auspicious signs. It's not simply some decorative marks. No. There is very significant good sign of such marks left behind on the soft dust when the Lord traverses the ground while walking. So, when Krishna was there with the Pandavas, the kingdom of the Pandavas was flourishing with so much of prosperity just because of the auspicious signs left behind by Krishna's traversing the ground. Also, Mother Earth is particularly making a statement. In the 16th chapter of the 1st canto of Bhagavatam, it is mentioned. Mother Earth is telling, I was endowed with specific powers to supersede the fortune of all the three planetary systems by being decorated with the impressions of the flag, thunderbolt, elephant driving rod, and lotus flower, which are signs of the lotus feet of the Lord. Under the Lord's feet, there are some impressions. These four are mentioned again here by Prabhupada, by Mother Earth. What Prabhupada mentioned in the earlier verse. Flag, thunderbolt, elephant driving rod, and lotus flower. These are the signs underneath the feet of the Lord Krishna. But at the end, when I felt I was so fortunate, Mother Earth felt very fortunate that Krishna, when he is walking on the ground, he is leaving behind his impressions. So Mother Earth considered herself very, very, very fortunate. But when she was thinking she is very, very fortunate, the Lord left me and went away. This after the disappearance of the Lord, Mother Earth is feeling the separation. So the beauty, Prabhupada says, the beauty and opulence of the world can be enhanced by the grace of the Lord and not by any man-made planning. So when Krishna was present on this earth, the impressions of the special sign of his lotus feet were stamped on the dust, and as a result of this specific grace, the whole earth was made as perfect as possible. So after Krishna's disappearance, people began to feel the difference that the prosperity is no longer going to be there because Krishna has left this world. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.